When you think of Rome, obviously one of the first things that comes to mind is the Roman emperor. So it might be surprising to learn that the Roman people historically despised emperors and repeatedly pushed back against men who saw power for themselves. The reason they felt this way is explained in the legend of a tyrant who would strike fear in the hearts of Romans for hundreds of years. The abuses he was accused of so horrified the Roman people, they would make it an integral part of their identity that no single man should ever rule over them. And the way this guy came to power shows exactly the type of person he would become. This is day 13 of reading the history of Rome and giving you the highlights so you can tell all your friends you read a book this year. The date is 534 BC. Rome has existed for 225 years. For that entire time, it has been ruled by 6 wise kings, one after the other. But that is about to change. Lucius Tarquinius, the man who would become the most notorious tyrant in Roman history, is the son-in-law of the current king. He and his wife Tullia have begun to scheme about how to take the throne for themselves. In Rome at that time, the kingship did not pass from father to son, but the Roman people elected a king, and that election was ratified by a group of elite citizens known as the Senate. And Tarquin doesn't want to bother with all that. Pushed by his wife, he begins to stir up discontent. He focuses on the senators, who he knows have the ultimate power to support him. He knows that the king's policies are unpopular with the Senate. One in particular, called the census, has exposed their wealth to the public and makes them contribute more to Rome's defenses than any other class. So he starts to whisper little lies to the senators, things like the king was born a slave, and he distorts the truth by saying the king did not come to power in a proper election. And one day, the king hears that Tarquin is talking about him in the Senate, and he decides to intervene. He arrives at the Senate house, but things do not turn out like he expects, because Tarquin shouts him down, starting a riot among the senators. In the confusion, Tarquin grabs the old king and throws him down the steps of the Senate. Shortly afterwards, his assistants kill the king. But it gets worse from there. Tullia, Tarquin's wife, shows up in a carriage. She sees the body of her father lying in the street, and driven into a frenzy by the conspiracy, she drives the carriage over her father's body, and the blood spurts on her clothes. With this death, Livy says that never again was a Roman king to rule in accordance with humanity and justice. A new era was still to come, but the death rattle of the old one was about to